Hi guys, I'm Amy and this is my, as everyone would agree, better half Maggie. And today we are reviewing ugly Christmas sweaters. And we've dressed for the occasion. As you can see, this is our most color. I don't usually wear color actually, so this is quite out there for me.
And I wouldn't say that it's ugly, so this is my absolute favorite sweater, so I'm very proud of this guy.
If you're new to our channel, we review games from two different perspectives, from the mechanics, which is usually my responsibility and interest, and from the theme on the way that the mechanics are integrated into a story that makes you feel like you're experiencing what the designer wanted you to experience. Is that an accurate description?
I'm all about immersing myself in the world of what the theme is meant to be and go, did I feel like I was doing that? Yes or no?
Yeah. And we're having lots of fun because we're in lockdown here in Melbourne. I think we're in, I don't know, month 6.
Who knows? Who can keep track anymore? Does it matter?
And, you know, if you're based in the States, you're probably not aware that, you know, Melbourne has one of the stricter lockdowns in the world.
Yeah.
We're only allowed out of our house for an hour a day for exercise, and we can't leave our suburbs. So what that means is a lot of parcels. Really, the only thing you have to look forward to is parcels. So we've been...
Things in the mail.
Things in the mail. Every day when the postman comes, everybody is like on their balcony is like, do you have something for me?
Yes.
But for us, it's just many games. And one of those games is Ugly Christmas Sweaters. That was a Kickstarter. And this game is by first-time game designer Hunter Henniger, and I believe in collaboration with his wife, Kim. And we were super excited to receive this game because it has a really unique and fun theme.
So in Ugly Christmas Sweaters, the aim is to try and design the absolute best ugly Christmas sweater. And you're going to do this with a combination of colors, a combination of trendy yarn, following fads. You're also going to be able to put together the perfect sweater for your Secret Santa, and essentially making sure that your entire family or your entire Christmas gathering is decked out with the best couture possible.
The best, and by best you mean worst. The ugliest Christmas sweaters, which have been a real trend. I even noticed that last time when we were in America, and I think we were in Walmart, and there was just like so many different ugly Christmas sweaters, and it's just kind of fun. And I love that it is about just standing out, and you get to be colorful when you're not normally. So it's a fun time. So I love the theme. Great theme, and the way it plays is very integrated with that theme. So. The way it works is this is a trick-taking game. So you're going to have a personal deck, and I will only talk about the 2-player variant. And it is a strong 2-player variant for a trick-taking game, which is quite rare. And I believe that the designer and his wife really wanted to work on that 2-player variant so that they could play together, which is really nice, I think. And they probably didn't have the foresight to think about COVID and how now there's lots of people looking for great 2-player games. So the way that this works is in a 2-player game, you get dealt all of the cards between the two of you, and you start with a hand of 9 cards. And on these cards, there are a different combination of colored suits, I guess, and numbers. And then on each card is a piece of a sweater. So you've either got the left-hand side of the sweater, the right-hand side, or the bottom part of the sweater. And on that has a different pattern. So they're different colors, but also a different pattern. It might be Christmas tree pattern, or a candy cane pattern, or a bell pattern. And you're looking to take and draft different cards to create whole sweaters. A round of this game lasts until any one person has created 3 sweaters. So then it ends and then you score. I think what's really interesting about this game is the way that you are bidding for turn order. So you want to go first because there is a public pool of 4 cards, and you know that you might need one of those cards to create the perfect sweater. And the perfect sweater, or what you're looking for each round, is dictated by a few different things. First of all, each round there's a different fad. And I love that idea that there's a popular theme for that year. And what you're looking for in this example would be to create an ugly Christmas sweater that's all purple, which would give you a bonus 3 victory points for that sweater, or one that has all snowmen. So snowmen are featured on both left and right and bottom parts of that sweater, and that would also give you 3 victory points. Every person, as Maggie mentioned, also has a Secret Santa card. That is a hidden objective that tells you that you've got a person that you need to provide a gift for, and here's their preference for what they want. For example, Indiana Alex here, his adventurous Christmas sweater that is on his wish list for Christmas needs to have 2 candy canes and 1 yellow piece in any order. And if you achieve that, you'll get a bonus 3 victory points. So some of the objectives are, of course, public, and some of them are secret. So you're chipping away at some of your own personal goals. When you're putting together the sweaters, there's also an end of round scoring that happens. And there are ways that you can get extra points. For example, if you look at this purple sweater here, you can see that their numbers in the top left-hand corner of the card are in sequential order. So they're consecutive numbers 4, 5, 6, and that's going to get me a bonus 2 victory points at the end of this round. You get 2 victory points for each sweater you have built. Often one person will get to that 3 sweater round ending goal, but you might only have 1 or 2 sweaters. And the reason for that is that you can take a card and actually put it on top of a previously placed card. So it's not the case that everybody will finish their sweaters at the same time. You of course get the bonus points for the fads that I've mentioned, but you also get, if you've matched, as you can see in this example here, I've matched 3 purple pieces that have all Christmas trees. It's not the fad of the season, it's not snowmen, but I will get a bonus for achieving that.
It is purple though.
It is purple though, so I'll get that fad, but not the snowmen, but I will get a bonus for making them all the same design. Likewise, if I had 3 yellow here, I would get some points for having all matching colors, even though it's not the fad of this particular round. So how does the turn order work? What's interesting about this game is that there's a bit of a variable setup in terms of the perfect fit, the trendy yarn, and the fad that we've already mentioned. But let's focus on the perfect fit and the trendy yarn. When you are bidding for turn order, you're looking through your hand, and one at a time, we are going to place a card down into the center space, and we are bidding against each other in order to get to be first player. And obviously first player gets the first pick of these, but I could also be first and second player if I have the 2 strongest cards that get played into this pool. And the way that you judge how strong or weak those cards are by the perfect fit, which in this case is a number 6, and the trendy yarn. So this season red is really in, and so red is given preferential treatment. If you had a red 6, that would be the ultimate trump card, and anyone who plays a red 6 would automatically pretty much ensure them the first turn order. Here I've played a 6, which is quite powerful because it's the perfect fit number, but it's green, not the trendy yarn. So a red 6 would trump this card. We do that one at a time. So we're both playing out cards. And then at the end, we evaluate who is picking first, second, third, and fourth out of this set of public cards. And once we draft those cards and place them down into our 3 sweater spaces or on top of a previous placed card, the 4 cards that we actually use for bidding then become the next drafting public available cards. And actually this is like what makes this game a little more crunchy than most usual like family Christmas style themed games, because there's a lot to think about in your hand in terms of the order that you're playing them and how badly you want the cards that are available, but also how badly you think your opponent wants them. And I find when we play this, I'm often looking at what you're building and trying to evaluate, do I need to play my most powerful card now, or should I hold back until, until a later round to use that card? And sometimes I think even though I really want that card, you might not notice that I need it. So it's okay to go later in the turn order and then still be able to nab the card, because I don't think that you're going to want to take it. And that's the other thing, is that if your opponent takes it, they have to play it into their sweater building space. And so they don't want to take things that aren't contributing to their own goals too. So if you can work out what they're trying to collect, you can be a bit more strategic about your choice. The other thing is that when you are choosing your cards to play in terms of getting first player, they're going to become the next round of cards that are going to be available. And so there's also a tension between playing a card that's powerful in terms of the perfect fit and being trendy versus playing a card that you know that you're going to need next round in order to achieve your objectives. Yeah. So it's like, do I play a lesser powerful card, but then it means that I can get that third purple card that I need. So it is quite interesting in that regard. At the end of the round, when someone gets 3 sweaters, we tally up all the points, and I think you play, how many rounds do you play? Three rounds, and then you tally the final score. I enjoyed this game. I feel like, for all the reasons that I've mentioned, like the bidding is really interesting, and I think that as you would have more people, that would become even more important to get that first player, because in a 2-player game, you're obviously getting to take 2 cards out of the pool. Whereas if you're last in a 4-player game, you're going to be left with
much higher risk.
Much higher risk, yep. So you'd be left with the dregs.
Yeah. I loved, the theme is fantastic. It's very creative. It feels very wholesome. So it's like the kind of feeling that you want to have at Christmas, or what it's meant to be felt at Christmas, is that whole, you're putting things together. There's the discovery, there's the creative element of, the colors and the candy cane and the Christmas tree and all of these sort of stuff. So all of that I think is great. I also enjoy, as you're saying, the tension when you are deciding what to play, because as you said, I'm not very good at looking at what you're doing. I'm usually very caught up in my own thing that I'm creating, and so all the time, which is why she always wins. But sometimes I will glance over and go, because I know that the cards that are going to be there, someone's going to have to take them, so it's either going to be her or it's going to be me. I know that I can play potentially something. It's like I'm feeding this card upstream, knowing that eventually I'll get to use it. Especially if I know that it's something that she wouldn't want to pick up because it's going to mess up her sweaters and it's going to, alter the objectives that she's trying to achieve. So I really enjoy that. I think I also really enjoyed reading through the rule book. Like how...
Hold on. Can we just talk about how terrible this rule book is? This is a terrible rule book, and there are things that I really like about this game. This is not one of them. The text is tiny, and
the print itself of the rule book.
And I'm getting on in years, and this is like
it's too small. I can't write this.
Yeah, it is really small, but also I didn't find it particularly easy either to follow along. I don't know if it's just to do with the size, but I really wish that there was less text and bigger font.
I, however, on the other hand, I agree with everything that you're saying. But on the other hand, what I loved about it was how personal all the information in there is, like the tone of lightness, of there's just a lot of heartwarming stuff in there. You can kind of get a sense for the designer, you get a sense for the family behind it, the joy of putting a game together. So I really loved that element. And it actually, it made me look at the game in an even warmer light. So if I take the game by itself, I think one thing that I wish it had is that the sweaters are not really ugly at all. I almost wish that they were uglier, or that we had more choices in terms of the stuff that you could make. And I don't know if this is maybe something that can be fixed with an expansion later on, like the black sheep of the family that's coming in with like the really crazy out there stuff, so that you can end up with some really wacky... something truly hideous in the best possible way. I enjoy the Secret Santa concept of, you've got the secret objective that you're trying to put together for this person with a combination of either colors or items. And the trick taking is quite interesting as a mechanic.
We were talking about when we would play this. I think that obviously Christmas. I mean, that's where everyone backing it is probably thinking, what a great theme to take to family Christmas. It's a small box game, easy to chuck in your suitcase. And I think that we would definitely get this out with our family. We spend Christmas with my family, and I think it might almost be too difficult for, my mum to kind of wrap her head around with the...
I think she'll get it, but she won't probably enjoy all the layers.
I don't think she would enjoy it. I don't think that, I don't think it's for the whole family necessarily, but I think that my siblings would definitely give it a go and understand it quite quickly and probably enjoy it. It's there's something about it that, even though I enjoy the complexity of the bidding, the building part of it is not super satisfying, and the scoring part of it is like feels like just a bit of an anticlimax to the building. Like, you don't actually get to make that many sweaters each round, and I wish there were almost more secret objectives, and each round there was a bit more that you were trying to do, or a little bit more complexity. So for us, I think probably we would only get this out because of the theme and at Christmas time. I can't see us getting it out
just for the two of us to play. It probably wouldn't happen. It would be very much we're in the spirit of let's play something together. We're and it's Christmas, and it's just like it's perfect for that. If we're wanting something that's really stimulating, or even if we wanted, I don't even know that we would play it as a filler or as a
I don't think so.
Regular,
I don't think that there's probably a regular occasion where we would get this out. But I think I can also imagine with friends over a Christmas dinner, and they're having maybe a glass of wine, and you're kind of playing something that's relatively simple like this. I think that would be great. I don't think it's particularly aggressive, which is good at Christmas time because
plenty of tension already often.
Plenty of family tension, or you don't need to add anything into the mix. Actually, some of our favorite, as a side note, last year we took a few games. My family is not huge gamers. I think I, have a younger brother. He's really into
video games more.
Video games and a bit of, D&D. And my sister is an engineer, so can really wrap her head around games quickly, but isn't as into it as us. Yeah. But we took Just One to Christmas. And I mean, that game doesn't really do it for me. But
what a crowd
pleaser.
Holy
moly, what a crowd pleaser. There's a reason that it got Game of the Year. Yeah. It's just, you put it in front of anyone and they can quickly grasp it. And when people are drinking and just having a good old Christmas time, what a fabulous game. And I don't think this is a replacement for that. I think this is a smaller group. Obviously, it's only 2 to 4 players, but it's more of in between let's spend a couple of hours playing a hardcore game versus let's play something really light as a family, like Telestrations or...
As you're saying that, though, I can totally imagine playing this. It's a small box. It's very easy to take around to, a gathering or a party, or just to bring out. We can take it with us, if we're traveling. So I can very easily, particularly during the holiday times, see this as a game that you bring out when everyone's already, stuffed. You've had so much to eat. You've had your dessert, and everyone's just kind of a little bit, low blood sugar or too high blood sugar, and that crash. And you just have enough energy to lie on the floor and fiddle around with something. So that would be a perfect one to just go, it doesn't matter how many people you've got, 2, 3 people. Let's just play a quick game of this while you've got, the TV or the, carols happening in the background of scenario.
Yeah, so, definitely. I think, and obviously I backed this game. I like to support new designers and smaller indie style games. And, it had been getting some really great reviews from Rado loved it.
And we love Rado.
And we do love Rado. But I think that if, once it moves into retail, there are some changes that I would love to see. Like you mentioned, maybe a bit more variation, maybe a few more different objectives, and more interesting maybe fads and things that you can add into the game. But the other thing is I'm really not fond of the colouring in this game. For a game that's all about ugly, bright Christmas sweaters, the game is very matte.
It's very tame. For me, it kind of gives you a very, that's why I kind of get this like low crashing blood sugar after you've had a big meal, but it's not like, whoa, holidays, whoa, brightness.
And I don't like mean that they should make it super contrasty and like, you know, go too far with the glossy cards and things, but I mean, the back of these cards drive me nuts. See, these cards here and the Secret Santa ones, when you first open the box and you're trying to work out what the hell is going on in that tiny little book, and then you're confronted with this, it's really hard to quickly tell the difference between these cards when you're setting up the game. This is really irritating. And not only is that really irritating, it's not even attractive. I just don't find that to be an attractive pattern.
It's an odd design choice.
It is an odd design choice. I get that it's meant to be probably the balls of yarn with different colors. But it's just, I don't know. I really wish they would change that. And, you know, some of the font choices to me are a little bit kind of homegrown, homemade style game. But the reason why I mention that is not to put you off getting the game, but just to set realistic expectations about the component quality. It is, you can tell that it's maybe someone's first game.
It doesn't feel super polished. It's very much like an indie, like you can feel the love and you can feel the homegrown in it. I don't actually mind the quality of the cards themselves. I don't mind, but I can tell, I see what you mean in terms of the colors.
So that's Ugly Christmas Sweaters. We'll probably keep it in our collection just for that Christmas time occasion. Like we mentioned, it's probably not going to be a game that we pull out other than at Christmas time, but I think it'll be one that we'll fondly remember every Christmas and be like, oh yeah, let's bring that along to family Christmas. And maybe it'll even be a segue into some more complex games for those family members that are kind of on the edge of board gaming.
Might lead you to a Tichu type. You know,
Tichu. Don't get us started about Tichu. Anyway, so that's Ugly Christmas Sweaters. If you liked this review, please show us some love by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel so you can be notified about our upcoming game reviews, and there's going to be lots of them. But yeah, hope you enjoyed and we'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.